It's it's a nightmare disease because, as you said, there are over 40 different symptoms of what Parkinson's can look like, and so the research that has come out about how many people feel that people think they're drunk, or people can suddenly freeze in the middle of the street and you might upset someone who's walking behind you and they just don't get it and they don't understand that could be part of it, and that's the difficult side of it. But so since I've sort of got involved more as my dad's progressed down his journey, I was probably very blasé at the start when he got diagnosed. He got diagnosed in 2003. Then didn't really show signs. It was just a small tremor in one of his arms.
What made him go to the doctors? What was it that made him...
Well, he'd had this tremor for probably, he says now, maybe a couple of years, 18 months before that, and being a typical bloke, probably didn't address the issue early enough, because the sooner you get on the drugs, the slower the progression's going to be. But he was pretty... he was good for a long period of time, 10 years or so, and then sort of been in the last... especially in the last year, but the last 5 years, you've really sort of seen it sort of catch up on him a little bit.
And what we know about Parkinson's sufferers is that no two Parkinson's patients are the same. The symptoms and the signs are so different. And actually, Mike, if you don't mind, I'm going to use this moment to talk about why it's personal to me. I'm a supporter of Parkinson's UK. You support Cure Parkinson's. And the reason I do that is because my own mother's a sufferer. I've never really talked about it before, just to protect her. But I just think more and more now it's important that we talk about it. She's incredibly independent, but it's slowness. And the expression, sometimes, they can look like they haven't got an expression or are expressionless, and we think they're being unfriendly, but that's not necessarily the case. There's so many different things.
Yeah, it is very difficult, and getting that awareness out of what people have to go through. People assume it's old people. It's not necessarily. There's people as young as 18 who've been diagnosed with Parkinson's, so it's it's getting rid of the assumptions of what people think Parkinson's looks like, and it's not there, and it's not necessarily that simple to do, and you've got to have patience with them because they're not trying to freeze, they're not trying to get stuck in a doorway. Things like doorways become real big problems for my dad if he just can't get through a doorway. So it is then, as you say, no one's the same, so there is a concoction of drugs that they have to take to deal with every individual symptom. So, and it's sort of rigorous. It's all through the day. If they don't get the timing right, they can go off, which will then get them to freeze.
And what's the impact on family life? Obviously, your mum has to take care of him, and he's got grandchildren, your two lovely daughters, and can he do much with them?
Yeah, look, it's deteriorated. As I said, he had a really bad year last year, and my dad was probably sitting at 12 stone, and then over the course of 6 months, he got ulcerative colitis as well. There is some link they say, with the gut. So Cure Parkinson's Trust, who I do a lot of stuff with, that is their sole goal, is to slow, stop and reverse Parkinson's. And it's by finding a cure. You look at someone like Parkinson's UK, they do a lot with living with Parkinson's, whereas the Cure Parkinson's Trust is just about curing it. Now, there is lots linked clinical trials, drugs that are already out there. So there's a big research that's just come out about exenatide, which is a diabetes drug, and that's really showing positive stuff around solving movement issues. So it's pushing those linked clinical trials. Then you've got stem cell stuff that's coming to the fore. We've got there's Dr. Thilo Kunath up in Edinburgh who's actively looking at putting dopamine replacement cells into the brain.
And do you feel a responsibility, with your name to do it? I mean, you've talked people think of, you've got this amazing life, part of the royal family, it must be a perfect life. We're in this era of everybody thinking that anybody who's famous has a perfect life. But you continually are open, aren't you, about miscarriages and your dad? And is that part of your... Well, do you feel you have to be honest?
I think you have to share experiences, because then how, with the state of mental health and how prominent that is, I think that's the only way you can do it, is to go through the experience. Look at my dad. I knew what he was as a dad when I was growing up. He taught me to play rugby, playing in the back garden. But you can sort of see that he has to question in his own how far he can go with it, because he's not the same physical shape as he used to be.
Yeah, and let's just move on to other things. Obviously, there's a new baby coming into the family. Harry is your Is it your first or both children's godfather? Is he? Is he a godfather?
No, he's just godfather to Lena.
He's godfather to Lena. How do you think is Harry showing some good parenting skills with your little one? And can you see it?
Obviously, he's a very busy man, but I think he'll be a great parent. He's always been good.
And the reason we're bringing Martin in, good morning.
Good morning.
Is because he's got some news about the issue you're on to talk about Parkinson's and others who suffer similar sort of mental health issues in a way.
It's about a condition which a horribly named severe mental impairment discount for council tax is what I'm here to talk about.
I did read that. It's badly named.
It's hideous.
Yeah, it is. It's a strange one.
It's one of the reasons
it's no wonder people don't know about it.
I call it an SMI because I don't like saying it. But so it's anyone whose social or intellectual functioning is severely impaired and has a medical diagnosis and is ineligible for certain benefits, has for a long time been what's called disregarded for council tax, much like students and under 18s are disregarded. So if they live by themselves, they should get 100% off, no council tax. If you live with one other adult, usually your carer, forgive me for doing it with you.
I do look forward to caring for you.
There we go, quite right, you're a lovely fella. We'd get 25% off the household bill, which could be £400 a year. And there's a postcode lottery, council by council, whether you get this backdated. Yesterday, I went to Wales because we've been campaigning with a series of recommendations to improve this, and the Welsh Government has implemented them all. Consistent literature that's being put everywhere, one application form for all 22 councils, a consistent backdating policy that means if you're eligible, you'll get it backdated to the point of diagnosis. It is a huge change that should make it easier for people in Wales to claim. We want the rest of Scotland and England to join in. I'm hopeful Scotland will come. England's more difficult because it's the UK government and they're busy at the moment, funnily enough. But the big message from me today about this, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, strokes can all result in a severe mental impairment. If you know someone who's got one, they are entitled to a council tax discount if they're medically diagnosed and eligible for certain benefits. It's about 100,000 people. Huge majority aren't claiming. 69 of 100 councils we tested were giving out wrong information, including saying the discount doesn't exist.
So you can just simply call up your local council, call the tax office and say, look, I think I'm eligible, and they will...
They should direct you through, but I'd go and read the information that's available on the web first to tool yourself up, because there's so much misinformation being given by councils, which is what we're trying to correct, which is what has changed in Wales, but not elsewhere.
So, Mike, you'd heard about this already, hadn't you?
No, only yesterday.
Right. Okay.
Basically, the campaign yesterday.
So literally only heard about it yesterday. Had no idea. I spoke to a few people within the Parkinson's community. They had no idea it was.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Really.
And I think it's great. Anything that can help, whether you can then put that money to if you do need a carer or if you do maybe just need a couple of hours of downtime. Then
because your mum is getting on herself and she's got to be full-time
That's the difficult thing. My mum's a typical northerner.
Good old northern lass.
Yeah, she refuses to let anyone else come in. It's her job, which it shouldn't be anyone's job. You know, the idea if it is a husband-wife combination or a partner combination, you're not there to look after someone who needs help. You need people to come in and help you so that you then don't start falling out with each other because of symptoms, the mood swings with Parkinson's, and they're not meaning to be.
My mum doesn't get mood swings. What are you talking about? She's absolutely fine. No.
I mean, a great spokesperson. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you
know, and it's a personal thing you've got to talk about, which isn't always easy, but it's obviously helping lots and lots of people who suffer the same way. Thank you.